Well, in this episode, the first thing we see is the scene where Penguin finally tracks down his mom. And, he goes to her and tells her he's going to get her out. But then Gallivant shows up with his bitch of a sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's putting it lightly.
I hope she's one of those people on the show that dies screaming. Yeah, but he's trying to get her out, and he's demanding the key. And he tells, what's his name? His sidekick.
Butch.
Butch, yeah. Now, why do I keep forgetting his name is Butch? But he tells Butch to shoot them in the head if they don't give him the key.
Yep, shoot the two of them in the head.
Yeah, and he ends up shooting the two assistants that Penguin brought with him.
Yep.
And that reveals the fact that they broke his brainwashing.
Yeah, which turned the scenario around for him pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was a really quick 180 degree. And then Gallivant makes him get down on his knees to beg for his mother's release. Because he says, please, let her out. And he's like, well, that doesn't sound like begging to me.
Yep.
And they make him get down on his knees.
And then they let his mom out.
Yep. But I knew as soon as he kidnapped Penguin's mother, I knew that he was going to kill her.
Yeah,
there was no way.
was done for.
Yeah, he was using her for a purpose, and when he was done, he was going to kill her.
Well, right before he opened it up and agreed to let her out, the wording that he chose was kind of foreshadowing as well. She served her purpose.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, every time somebody serves their purpose for him, once they're done serving their purpose, they seem to have a bit of bad luck, so to speak.
Yeah, bad luck.
Yeah.
It's one of those Gotham things where you served your purpose and you're dead.
Yeah, but his sister ended up putting the knife in her back.
Yeah, it was actually. I know Penguin is deranged, and his mother's no different. But it was actually very sad to see him holding her as he died, as she died.
She died. Yeah.
It wasn't nice.
You see, but that's going to make his actions more emotional.
Yeah.
Okay. He would never do anything out in the open.
Before, now he's
going. Yeah. See,
this episode's actually a really good example of that because of what happened later on in the episode. After that, we had the Riddler waking up. Well, Edward waking up to the body of his girlfriend missing.
Missing, yes. He finds out. Yeah, he's looking for her, can't find her, and that's when the Riddler Edward shows up.
Yes.
The evil.
And we get our very first look at a Riddler card that was on the bed waiting for him.
Yeah. Riddler card is left on the pillow of the bed, which leads him on his first, wild goose chase to go find the answer to the Riddler. And if you'll notice that I think you said you may have mentioned it before that every time you see Edward Nygma, there's always something green.
Oh yeah, every time he has a little scene or a little moment in the show, there's always a green. Yeah, there's that green glow at the bottom of his glasses right there. Yeah, so we're going to be seeing a lot of that. Well, especially after how tonight's episode ended. Oh yeah, definitely. We also have the new mayor coming in to talk about martial law. Right. Yeah, his next step in taking control of Gotham is to declare martial law so that he now has more power to have things done his way. And martial law will allow him to put his ears to the ground. Yeah, and look at the size of those motherfuckers. I know. Look at that. I mean, is this guy related to Dumbo or something? The flying elephant? Look at those ears. Can he pick up HBO with those ears? Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, Spock would be envious of those fucking ears. Damn. Yeah, but he's talking to Jim Gordon, debating the pros and cons of the martial law that he's about to enact. Yeah, I also noticed that he said something a particular way that kind of stood out to me was we need to be able to do this by any means necessary. And Jim's argument was fear wasn't the way to do that. But I kind of felt like it was a little reminiscent, and I know it's DC, but It was a little reminiscent of the conversation that Captain America has with Loki in the Avengers.
Yeah.
That there's a right way to do stuff.
Then, yeah, I like the scene where Kat meets Bruce's new little girlfriend.
I'm not 100% on her name.
Yeah, she was all nice and, nice in manners, and until Bruce walked out of the room, she was right into Kat's face and starts trash talking her.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you something. When I saw the two of them standing face to face like that, in the back of my mind, I could hear two cats going. Reow! I'm sitting there. Look, it's a preteen cat fight in the living room.
Quite literally in this case.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because one of them is a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like that stare down.
It was nice, and the rebuttal that followed up, where Kat kind of told her off in front of Bruce.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And Bruce kind of told her, you need to go away. I thought you were my friend, and I was wrong.
That was after she mentions that the tea smells like a slap in the face. And she looks right at Alfred when she says that, because he slapped her in the last episode.
Yeah, he did. He bitch slapped her.
Oh yeah.
That was a pimp slap if I've ever seen one.
Okay, yeah. So now, and then all of a sudden, the next scene after that is Nigma tracking down the clues of that riddle, which lead him to the candy machine.
Trying to figure out the first riddle.
Yeah.
Which led him to the candy machine with her hand behind all of the ladyfinger snacks.
Yeah, I thought that was funny that the candy is ladyfingers, and all of a sudden there's a lady's hand with fingers on it.
Yeah. I want to point out something here, and it could just be me, but when the hell was the last time you saw something cost 40 cents in a vending machine?
Yeah, I know. Well, now there's a 5-pack stick of gum that costs 40 cents. I think that's going up to 50.
Probably.
Yeah.
And a hand.
And a hand. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. So he figured that out, and now he's got to find out where the rest of the body is.
Well, he did. He does end up finding out.
Yeah. Well, there's a clue is stuck in the folds
in the palm of the hand.
Palm of the hand. Yeah.
Yeah. It was in the palm of the hand when he pulled it out, and it was something along the lines of, "What are the two things wrong with me?"
Right, yeah, and that the M and E were both capitalized.
Yeah,
which made him think medical examiner.
Yeah. We also have Butch going off on his own.
Yeah,
kind of starting to get his own little lackeys and take up residence in what looks like an Italian restaurant.
Right, yeah, or like a pizzeria or something. But Jim Gordon and his partner Harvey, they walk in on him, and I believe this is the first time when Jim Gordon finds out any hints as to what's really going on, because Butch tells him.
Yeah, well, they were sitting out doing the stakeout outside, and he was running the ideas past Harvey about how it's a little too convenient, and everything just seems to be working out in his favor, where he just came out of nowhere, and next day he's mayor. And then Butch confirms that the Penguin was being forced to do all of these horrible things.
Right, because Gallivant kidnapped his mother.
Yes.
So that's the first time that Jim has a confirmation of his suspicions. But the way the scene starts to unfold, it looks like he may not live long enough to act on them.
Yeah, no.
Because the next thing you know, Mr. Baldy and his gang are standing outside the establishment, giving anybody who wants to live 60 seconds to leave. And that's when Harvey and Gordon pick up those M60s that were leaning up against the wall
and lit up outside.
Yeah, they just lit up the front windows of that building.
I mean, you had all you had after that was him going, "I guess that's a no."
Yeah, I guess that's a no. Yeah, but then but Butch ends up getting away.
Yeah, Gordon did not know that his hand was cut off, so when he handcuffed him, he didn't.
Right, he just unhooked his hand from his arm
and took off. Yeah,
But
I mean, coming from Butch, I would be doing anything I could to get away from that bald guy. Speaking of Gotham things, I want to point out the fact that, and I might be mistaken, there might be one or two instances where I am wrong.
Yeah,
but every single motherfucker in Gotham that blows up their picture to more than life size happens to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
And it seems to be this. I mean, you had the original Harvey Dent from the first Batman movie, where his picture's huge behind him, and of course
Billy D. Williams played
Harvey Dent.
Played Harvey Dent in the very first Tim Burton Batman with Michael Keaton,
and of course Harvey Dent does go on to become Two-Face.
The Penguin in the second Tim Burton Batman
when he was running for mayor, absolutely.
And he was a bad guy.
You got the mayor right now in the show. That's running for, or just one mayor. His picture's blown up behind him.
Yep, and he's a bad guy.
And I just feel like the people down at Staples that are making these giant prints could just call ahead of time and be like, hey, listen, so-and-so is getting a really large print of their face made, and they could just go arrest them ahead of time.
Go stake him out and make sure he doesn't do anything wrong. Have the cops go down to Costco and say, hey, look, anybody comes in and wants a picture of themselves more than a normal poster size, give us a call.
Immediately.
Somebody comes in and wants something bigger than an 8x10. We're gonna link up satellites overhead. We're going to get Homeland Security involved, and they're going to tap his phone.
Crime in Gotham would drop drastically.
Oh yeah. If you just locked up everybody who posted a picture of themselves bigger than life size.
This episode of Gotham brought to you by Staples.
Yeah. But then, the mayor has his inaugural party, and during that party is when the Penguin decides to take his revenge.
Yes, the March of the Penguins.
The March of the Penguins. That's exactly what I thought of when I saw that scene, and it's like, and all of them are waddling like a penguin, but they're also marching in formation, and penguins tend to march in a straight line, one behind another. And so it's like you got this, you literally have a March of the Penguins marching towards that building, And I thought that was interesting that they did it that way. That, the Penguin hired all his little...
I think that the way that he went about this was actually very clever. He knew what they'd be looking for, so what he did is he sent a bunch of people that looked exactly like that.
Yep, and and they wreaked havoc on that party.
Yes, they did. Shooting everybody.
Yeah, civilians, cops, and then finally, when Gordon tries to get the mayor out the back entrance, there's the real Penguin waiting for them.
Yep.
And you can see Gordon standing between them with the mayor crouching down. The pussy that he is.
Yeah, very much so when his sister isn't around.
Yeah, that's right. When his sister's not around, man, he's a real wimp, hiding behind Jim Gordon. And this is when the Penguin confirms what Gordon heard from Butch.
Yeah, and
saying, my mother died in my arms because of him.
Yeah, and you could tell by his face like he wasn't lying.
Yeah, and as soon as Gordon saw that he was telling the truth, and he confirmed what Butch said, he says, I know. And then you see Gallivant's facial expression change.
Oh, quickly.
He quickly changed to now Gordon. I see now that Gordon is going to be one of my enemies.
Yeah. And also, it went from, you need to stop him, to you need to kill him.
Yeah, but then his bitch of a sister shows up with the high power rifle and puts a bullet in Penguin's shoulder.
Also, I want to point out this episode. Everybody that she has shot at, aside from Penguin,
has died. Yeah,
she's never missed.
Yeah, one shot takes out whoever she wants to take out.
Ever.
At the beginning of this episode, when Penguin is running away after his mother dies, she fires 5 rounds at him and doesn't even touch him.
Yeah, doesn't even touch him.
The only thing that I can say to that is that all the other times that she shot somebody, she is planning that shot. She has time to take her aim. She has time to see what the person's doing and react to the person's actions so that she doesn't shoot behind them or in front of them.
And I would totally give her credit for that, except for the fact that the shot on Penguin was from the roof, uninterrupted, from a sniper rifle.
Right.
So why didn't she put him down?
Oh, you're talking about that shot?
Yeah, I'm talking about the last shot she gets off of him is in the shoulder.
That shot into his head, right?
Should have, yeah. She should have put him down, but it did not go through his head. It went through his shoulder, and there was no reason for it.
Well, maybe maybe the writers wouldn't let her.
Goddamn script.
Yeah, these damn scripts. Why don't these writers let me do what I'm supposed to?
It's almost like the Penguin's supposed to stick around for a while.
Yeah. It's like somebody told her, "Hey, you kill him now, then Batman will never be able to confront him later on.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh shit! All right,
Shoulder
no, but yeah. But she's such a sharpshooter. She takes out the cop that was waiting by the back door by putting a bullet in his head.
Yeah.
She takes out one of the false penguins before she realizes that he's not one of them with one shot. And then all of a sudden, when she's shooting the penguin, it's like, what happened? Did your scope become foggy or something?
And the image is up right now. You can kind of see where the building is in perspective to where they're standing.
Yeah.
That shot was less than 100 yards.
No, definitely. Yeah.
So there's no excuse here. But I'm wondering if that was intentional or if maybe she deliberately missed the shot.
That might be true. That might be something that will come up in future episodes.
But I mean, you're talking about a sharpshooter who mind you took a shot two episodes back when they had the Joker on who we're assuming is the Joker on the school bus when he left one of his lackeys behind. She took a shot from almost across the city.
Yeah.
And hit him dead center. And now she can't make a shot at the penguin less than 100 yards away.
But then again, this shot right here was taken in the dark.
Oh, bullshit. Bullshit.
Yeah, so was the other shots that she took during this scene. But yeah, but then again, even in real life, you have people where if what happens to them happened to anybody else, that person will be dead, but they come through it, relatively unscathed. And you're like, how the hell did you get through that?
I guess, man.
Maybe it's just that Penguin is having that kind of luck.
You know what? I'm saying that a stormtrooper on that roof could have hit this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But she just happens to I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Now I could see if they had done the scene where Rodriguez doesn't get killed by her until he interferes with her shot with Penguin.
Yeah, that would have made sense.
Made a lot more sense and would have made the scene a lot more believable. Yeah. So they should have left Rodriguez alive, trying to track her down. Because remember, he was there aiming at the false penguins too.
You see, you didn't even have to worry about Rodriguez. Like at that point, it's already been called over the radio that there's a shooter on the roof. Yeah. Now Rodriguez is unresponsive. Even with the shit going on inside, there should have been an officer maybe even going up there to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, so it could have been another cop that,
But they clearly showed her after she shot Penguin. She was by herself.
Right. It was Bullock and Gordon that started shooting at her that made her move.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, they should have put another cop into the scene and let her kill two cops.
Well, like I said, it could have been intentional. So, I mean, it could be something that comes into play later on where she has her own agenda.
Right.
But, I mean, I have a feeling that his sister, and just a guess, the whip kind of was really reminiscent of the, was it Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman?
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I think Catwoman did have a whip.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if she is going to be around with her own motives later on and,
and trains Selena how to use
how to use different weapons and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Because I mean, aside from the fact that she's not Catwoman, she kind of has all the other aspects of Catwoman. She's really agile. She's really quick. She knows her way around the weapons. She has the skills from the whip.
Right.
So I mean, it could be that she sticks around long enough to teach Selena.
Yeah. And have you noticed that the actress that plays Selena in this series looks a little bit like Michelle Pfeiffer?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit chunkier in the face, but she's still very young.
Yeah, she's like Michelle Pfeiffer when she was a teenager.
Yeah, it's really close. But I mean, they this season so far they have really been going Tim Burton-esque.
So everything seems to be darker.
Almost like they're putting a show on for the stage,
Yeah.
Everything seems. I mean, like I can understand that with Jerome. Like that makes sense if that's going to be who the Joker is.
Yeah.
I can understand him needing center stage because he's the Joker. But it seems like everybody in the show is kind of doing that.
Right, yeah. Well, see, but then again, the subtitle of this season is the end. The villains will rise.
Yeah.
This whole season is about the people that become the villains are becoming them now.
Yeah.
Enigma's becoming the Riddler. Cobblepot is officially becoming, the Penguin. Maybe a little later on, Selina will become more of Catwoman.
I have a feeling that they're building towards that.
Yeah.
You also had Jerome. When you first see it, he looks like he's on a morgue table. But then immediately in the next episode, you have Firebug being taken. Firebug or Fire. Yeah, it's Firebug being taken into. Yeah,
the bitch with the flamethrower.
Being taken into Indian Creek.
Yeah,
or Indian Hill.
A subsidiary of Wayne Enterprises.
Yeah. But in the same room that looked identical to where Jerome's body was.
Right. So Jerome may not actually be dead.
Nope.
He may be in some kind of catatonic state. So they took him to Indian Hill, for treatment, and maybe we'll see him later on in the season.
Well, what I'm thinking is, and this is my theory for the second half of the season. I have a feeling that the new mayor is going to be dealt with by mid-season.
Yeah.
And I have a sneaking suspicion that the way they're going to do Hugo Strange, a doctor at Arkham Asylum, I have a feeling that in the show they're going to make him a doctor at the Wayne Hospital.
Oh yeah.
And that would play. I think that would do very well. Because I also have a feeling that Scarecrow, which they haven't mentioned since the episode,
right? Yeah.
Also ended up in that hospital.
Yeah, and also the fact that Bruce is finding out that there's something wrong at Wayne Enterprises. Indian Hill might be one of those problems that actually causes a lot of these villains to become the villains that they'll be, that Batman will have to deal with.
Well, right now we know for a fact that Firebug is there.
Yeah.
We also
she's majorly burned.
Now they also hinted liquid nitrogen around them, or like dry ice, like really, really cold.
Yeah.
And I saw that and I was like, oh my god.
Talking about Freeze?
Freeze.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, his storyline, he was a scientist that was trying to save his wife.
Yes.
He was trying to put her into a type of cryostasis that would keep her alive until he found a cure for her disease.
Yes.
And he either, in some instances, in some renderings of the story, he fell. There was an accident and he fell into the chamber that had all that stuff in it. In some instances, he was pushed by somebody.
Yeah, there's different tellings. Now, the thing that they got going for them now is I don't think they ever really explained in depth when in the timeline Freeze turned.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, like, I still feel like it's a little early in Bruce's life for the Joker to be active.
Right, yeah.
For me, it was always like the Joker kind of showed up after Batman. And yeah, when he becomes full-on Joker, that may be the case. But, like, you don't know what happened to Freeze or when it happened. Like, how long has he been trying to save his wife? Has he been trying to save his wife since Bruce was a child?
Right, yeah.
So I'm interested to see where they take the stories.
But this episode here ends with Edward Nygma in the medical examiner's office. Now, he was there when Gordon's girlfriend walked in on him, the medical examiner.
Yes, he was.
Okay, and him almost getting caught provides fodder for the Riddler persona to start arguing. So he's arguing with himself. It's Nygma versus the Riddler.
Yeah.
And the Riddler uses the fact that he was almost caught to argue, would you do what you would have to do if she caught you?
And him slowly realizing that he would have, because the rush.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the Riddler persona begins to win the argument, and then you start to see them merging.
Yeah, where it's no longer just Edward in control.
And you see the Riddler going from side to side as he's standing behind Nygma, whispering into his ear. Finally, Nygma succumbing to his line of logic and accepting that persona, and then they merge into one person.
Yep.
And the two personalities become one, and then you see this slight little grin on his face as he's looking at his girlfriend's dead body in the morgue.
And he picks up the bone saw.
Yeah, he picks up the bone saw, and then Roy smiles at it. Yeah, so you got that smile as he's standing over the body, as he realizes that he is who the Riddler is. He's the Riddler,
accepting himself,
accepting himself for who he is. And the first thing you see him do is pick up the bone saw to get rid of his girlfriend's body, so no one finds it.
Yep.
And then I think there was one more scene where Kat is standing on the wall of Wayne Manor and looks through the window and sees Bruce kiss his new girlfriend.
It's either Wayne Manor or he is over at Galvin's house, and she's across on a building.
Right, yeah. But you see that look on her face when she sees her kiss him.
And then turn her head and smile.
Yeah, and she hugs him and smiles as if she thinks that Kat is out there, and she's smiling, saying, "Don't you wish you were me?" or "Ha ha, he's mine now." She's got that shit-eating grin,
Now, I'm not a huge fan of watching 13-year-olds die. I can't say that I didn't enjoy watching Joffrey choke to death.
Yeah.
But I am really looking forward to Kat fucking that girl up.
Oh, yeah. I want to see that. I want to see that as a full-blown WWE WrestleMania main event type thing, where she just throws that bitch around.
Cage match.
Pillar to post. Yeah. Hell in a Cell match where she just beats the shit out of it. So, so I guess we have what we have to look forward to would be to see if the Joker comes back.
I think we will see him again after midseason. Probably not as big as we saw him in the beginning of the season.
Right. Yeah.
But we'll probably see him, or we'll get one of those, cackles.
Yeah.
We also got to. I'm kind of interested to see what happens to the mayor's sister after the mayor's dealt with, and then, like I said, I'm really looking forward to Kat beating the shit out of that little girl.
Yeah. So we have a few good things to look forward to.
Yeah, overall, it was a really good episode.
But a lot of these series, like Gotham, are slated for at least 10 to 12 episodes before the mid-season break, and this is number 6 or 7?
7, I believe.
Yeah, so we may have 4 or 5 more to go. So normally by the second week in December, everything's done, and they take like a little Christmas break, and then come back in the middle of January with the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's what you're saying before.
Yeah, so we probably have about 5 more episodes, to see what happens with these villains before the mid-season break. So we have a few episodes to go, and it'll be interesting to see where they take the story over the next few episodes. Yeah. So until next week, I guess we can say happy viewing.